Welcome to The Medium with Celeste. Today we hope to make connections and help people's hearts heal. Hello, today's topic is about grounding and balancing. That's why we're outside. The river and nature are an easy way to ground and balance in your life. That being said, a lot of people don't really know what grounding and balancing is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means for your average person who's not an empath, a medium, a psychic, just your average person. Like, why would it benefit you to ground and balance? So grounding and balancing is about centering yourself, connecting deeply to your roots into the earth, and then focusing on finding your balance. So there's this really cool walking meditation that I learned through a Buddhist monk, where you breathe in as your heel steps down and you're breathing out as your foot goes up to the toes. And you're supposed to follow your natural breathing pattern. So you're not supposed to breathe to your footstep, match your footstep to match your breath to your footstep. You're supposed to have it happen naturally. So as you're doing it, oftentimes I watch people almost fall over, and it's really crazy to see that, because these are people that you see walking normally and they walk a nice straight line. But here they can't even keep a straight line because they're off balance and they don't realize it. It's a great way to see if you're off balance. So the idea is to make your step match your natural breath. And you'll see how off balance you really are in life. The acts of grounding and balancing also helps to relieve and release stress. So if you're very stressed out in life, taking a few moments to even just step outside, take 4 or 5 deep breaths and just release, that can be grounding in and of itself. One of the easiest tricks to grounding and balancing, if you're not squeamish about bare feet, is to walk outside with bare feet, to put your feet in the river, to allow yourself that time to center yourself and just be present in what's going on and not think about everything else going on. Being present in what's going on is the essential part of finding the balancing part of the grounding exercise. My favorite way to do it is, it takes me 3 minutes, is to close my eyes and imagine my feet are growing roots into the ground. That bark is growing up around me and my tree branches are reaching out to the universe for universal knowledge and understanding. And then I imagine a light surrounding me. And the breeze sways me, but I never move. And that's how I know that I'm grounded and balanced. It's not something that should be difficult or take a long period of time once you get into the habit of doing it. Grounding and balancing also helps you to be more present within your own life in that moment, to step away from the chaos of everyday life, of your job, of your family. No offense to our families, but it gets chaotic. To step away for a moment from all of the other stuff that takes us away from what we need and what we want for ourselves. I always say grounding and balancing is sort of like checking in with yourself and centering who you want to be at that moment. It's a great thing to do if you're feeling really angry. Probably the hardest time to do it, because at that point you probably want to scream and yell and punch something, which I don't recommend. That's not very good grounding and balancing. But, you know, taking that time when you're emotionally drained to breathe, to just stick your feet center and close your eyes and take 4 or 5 deep cleansing breaths, which basically are nothing more than a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and blowing it out hard if you have to, more slowly if you just need to slow your mind and slow your body. And again, just stepping outside for 5 minutes, away from the walls, away from the electronics, away from the chaos of your life. It's important to ground and balance for everyone because it helps reduce our stress levels naturally without doing a full meditation. It helps bring us center so that we can find our own comfort within a situation. So if you're in a chaotic situation and you need to get away and you need to ground and balance, get out there and breathe. Welcome back to the studio. Today we have Lace in the studio for a reading. Welcome.
Thank you.
What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna ground and balance for a second, and then we'll see who's here who wants to talk to you, okay? So give me a moment. So funny. Of all the things that pops up, your dog showed up, your childhood dog. So I need to just pass that along.
Okay.
You don't have a dog now. Your own dog.
No, not my own dog.
Okay.
No.
But you do have a dog.
Yes.
That you play with. I see you playing with somebody's dog.
Yes.
Either you stole a dog or there's actually a dog in your life.
Yes.
But I feel like you love this, like this dog, and you've developed a bond with this dog.
Yes.
And I just need to honor that. For some reason, the dog's coming in to say this dog kind of reminds you of your old dog, just the playfulness and the goofiness of this dog. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And is this with somebody you know? This is not in your family?
Correct.
This is external from your family, the dog said.
Correct.
Sorry, we're talking to a dog. I know that's not who you came to connect with, but I feel like whatever's connected to this dog is also connected to a positive relationship for you.
Yes.
So I need to give that to you. Give me 1 second. Your dad goes, really? You're the dog, not me. So I apologize to your father. Your father said hello to you. Your dad passed.
Yes.
And he said to me, he goes, you let the dog in before a human? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to honor that. But what I see, your dad keeps talking about birthdays. Birthdays. So your birthday already went by?
Yes.
Okay. And
last year.
And he said your birthday's coming back up. Are you a fall baby?
Is November fall?
Yes.
Okay.
But he said this is a big birthday for you. So you're in your 20s now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mid-20, yeah.
And he said to me, he said, really? He said, I don't know what you're waiting for in life. He said, I don't know what you're waiting for when it comes to like just making choices. Like, go back to school, do something for yourself. Yeah. So I'm gonna give that to you. Your dad is a good, I'm listening. He said he was a good egg with a bad set of choices.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't think he was a bad guy.
No.
I think externally other people may have thought he was a bad guy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I feel like that's not fair. Like, it wasn't a fair assessment of him. And he said he spent his whole entire life trying to overcome other people's assessments of him that were not true. And at some point, you get tired of fighting, he said. And he said, when I got tired of fighting, it wasn't because I didn't want to fight anymore for you. It was because I was tired of fighting everybody else.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he talks about something with his back, or having had, I'm just going to give this to you, issues within his back. He's telling me this not because it was something that you need to, like, oh, poor dad and his back. But so either it's like, I don't know, I'm not a medical doctor, but he shows like a shrinking back. So something for you to be aware of, because he died pretty young. But I see, like, he said, just take care of your back in life. So I'm going to give that to you. I don't think it's watch your back, because it's a totally different, yeah, because I feel like shrinking. So it's something like taking care of your own back, taking care of your health, due to something within the family genetics. I don't know what that is. I told him I don't want to give medical advice, and he's like, well, I just tell her to take care of her back. And I'm like, okay, Dad. He's funny, though. He was always good for a story or a joke.
Yes.
And he said, I can't, he goes, he's telling me jokes that I can't tell. So I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah.
But you understand that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm kind of in a position like, I can't say that. But he's funny. He comes with your grandmother. You knew your grandmother just for like 5 minutes of your life.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I feel like you were a baby, and then you didn't get to have a relationship with her. So I need to honor that. You didn't have a very strong relationship with your grandma. Your grandmother said hello, by the way. You're like, I don't know you. Your dad did talk about his mother, though, a little bit. But he said to me, and she said they didn't, in life, maybe their relationship wasn't as good as it could have been. So I need to honor that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel like they were disconnected for most of their lives. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And your grandmother said, I'm sorry that I disconnected from him. It's not that I wanted to disconnect from you. Okay? She had her own set of issues, too. She was not, I'm going to insult you, I guess. She wasn't right up here. You know, I don't know if she suffered from like bipolar or something like that, because she seems to be a wavy person, yep. Which to me says like mood swings, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes. And
so your father's said, you know, that's why we were disconnected, but we're connected over here. We've forgiven each other. So I need to give that to you. Okay. And your grandmother said, again, she's sorry that she couldn't be a grandma to you, that she couldn't come in. She said, I couldn't come in and rescue you from the situations you were stuck in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And she said, but now you have good people who will rescue you. You just have to remember to ask. She gave you a grandmother look. I don't know how else to explain that to you, but like a grandmother look, like ask. Yeah. She said, you're notorious for not asking.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I do feel like you have features from your father's side in your face, mm-hmm. So I need to honor that. Your mother would disagree, but I will honor that from your father's side. I'm listening. Okay. Your dad was kind of tall. He's 5'9", 5'10". Yeah. It's funny because he says he's a humorous kind of guy, and he literally put his like elbow on my head, and he's like tall to you, because I'm short. I'm 5 foot. So, but that's just his energy. He's playful. Mm-hmm. You miss that. And he said you've been missing him a lot lately. Yeah. And you've been talking to him a lot. Yeah. And you've been asking him if he's proud of you. Yeah. Mm. And he said, I love you. I'm always going to be proud of you. He's like, I just want you to find a career that you can be proud of. Yes. And he said, you've been wandering for too long. He's like, don't end up like me. Did he ever wear a hat? Or he keeps, unless you put cowboy hats on, he keeps putting a cowboy hat on you. You've never worn a cowboy hat?
I have, yeah.
Okay. But country music isn't your thing.
It is, in a sense. It's my go-to lately.
Because he keeps honoring it and throwing a country hat on you, so I'm going to give that to you. Because to be fair, you are wearing country boots, but he said you weren't really a country girl.
Not growing up, no.
Okay. He said you've changed a lot. You've cleaned yourself up. You took a shower. But he says it like with a smile, like you've decided to live for you finally. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I feel like he goes, you're finally happy again. Mm. And he said, I'm sorry that I can't be there for us to share that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
He keeps talking about your mom now. Biological.
Thank you. Wait, which one?
And she's alive.
Yes.
And you have seen her.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And he said she's really trying to get better or do better. Okay. But she's always broken.
Yes.
Like you just need to know that that's just how it's going to be.
Yep.
But he still loves her. And I need to give that to you.
Yes.
Like still loves your mother so much.
Yep.
Okay, I know. I'm over on your mom's side, so just, I'm rotating through people. I keep having a man step in on your mom's side, but it's not your grandpa. So I don't know who he is. So you just be patient with me. Like, don't overthink it yet. I'm just trying to sort and separate these people. He steps in from your mom's side. He seems young. But he doesn't seem like your mother's brother or anything. I'm going to pass this along to you because I don't know how much it relates to you, but I keep getting like a cousin to your mother. Okay. And he talks about, or maybe it is important, he talks about the family almost like shattering. Like, have you ever like dropped a glass and everything just...
A spider web.
Yeah, spider webs out.
Yep.
That's how he's showing your mom's family.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and he comes in as a cousin. You could ask your mom, you do talk to your mother.
Yeah.
But you can ask her about a cousin who passed when you get home. Yep. But he said to me, it's almost like when it shatters, there's pieces that are close together, but the center is always alone. Right?
Yes.
It's hard to explain this to you.
I understand.
Okay, but he shows your mother feels like the center.
Okay.
Like, she knows things are disconnected all over, but it feels like some of those disconnects are still connected.
Right.
But nothing's connected to her.
Okay.
So I'm going to give that to you. But her cousin said, tell her there's still people who love her.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
No, when he came in, I was like, okay, move. I need to, is there someone else you want to talk to? You don't care, right?
I don't care.
Okay, good. Because I have like 3 other people who want to talk, and I'm like, wait, let me make sure, because they're chatty.
Yeah, no.
Your grandmother on your mother's side, not biological.
Okay, not biological. So, okay, that would be adoptive side. Okay.
Okay. She passed? She's still alive, right?
Yeah, but yeah, my adopted parents, yes, are both still alive.
Okay.
Biological, it must be biological.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening. But your biological grandma,
yes,
on mom's side,
yes,
she's passed.
Yes.
And but she's talking about your grandma on your adoptive mom's side.
They're both still here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So you see them sometimes.
Yes, one more than the other, yes.
They do love you, she said. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And she said, embrace the time that you have with them. Because she didn't get time with you, your biological grandma.
Yep.
She said, I wish I had more time with you. She had you around when you were little, once in a while, but she didn't get a lot of time to be grandma.
Right.
Give you those things.
Right.
She seems more put together than grandma on dad's side. So I'm going to honor that.
Okay.
But I don't know that her life was put together.
Okay.
That's how I would explain it to you.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she seems like she lived in chaos, but she was the anchor. So it's almost like if there was a tornado, she would be okay.
Right.
She'd just look at what's happening around her and be like, this is ridiculous.
And then would be like in the tornado.
Right.
Yes.
So I need to honor that because she said to me, my life wasn't perfect, but I tried to be a good person within the chaos, is how she said it. But she talks about your other grandmothers and saying, you know, how much they do love you and they do worry about you. And sometimes you forget that people worry about you because you try so hard to be independent. She used the word stubborn, but I'm going to go with independent.
Stubborn's right.
Okay. So that you forget that these people love you and never settle for less and don't ever live the kind of life she did or your mother and father did.
Right.
Like really strive. She goes, that's funny. Okay, I'll tell her. So she's like, you strive for the country, not the city in your life. Strive for like that idea of peace, not chaos. You're really good at hunting down chaos. And she said, I want you to hunt down peace. Okay? She's really a pretty woman in a simple way. Like, that's not like, I don't want to call her simple because some people take that as plain.
Right.
But she's not plain. She's beautiful in a very simple way. So that's what I need to give to you. I know that sounds weird, but that's the way I would describe her. And she's not super tall.
Okay.
She's taller than me, though. Most people are taller than me, though. So it's not a fair assessment, but maybe 5'4".
Okay.
5'5".
Okay.
Maybe.
5'3", I don't know.
Yeah, she's not much taller than me. Like, she's like, this much taller than me. But she wanted to thank you for giving her mom a chance, her daughter a chance, your mom a chance. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And just remember that you have to do what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandma on your mom's side is talking about going back to church. So she was a church person.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think that she was heavily involved with the church, but I believe she had a religious base to her beliefs.
Okay.
And she said, sometimes you need to go back to church to remember your faith.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to give to you.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. I guess she wants you to pray or something.
I guess.
Well, she said it's not about prayer. It's about having faith and putting your faith back out there that...
I was going to church for a while.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to Connecticut. I just stopped. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like finding your place again, finding your
Right.
faith again, your spiritual center.
Right.
They keep hopping. Your dad goes to me, I'm really the most important person here. I'm really the important one, is how he says it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know why the grandmas want to talk. We know it's about me. But that's your dad. He's funny. The whole time your grandmother's talking, he's like rolling his eyes.
That's me in person.
But that's not, he doesn't mean it as an insult.
Right.
He's doing it to be funny.
Yep.
Like, he's just like, yeah, let's go.
Yep.
Like, we've talked about that long enough. Your dad was a good-looking man. He's got like a good-sized shoulder width, and but he's got the thing about your dad that is most like noticeable to me is his smile. He's just very charming. He's got a great smile. He said to me, we don't need to talk about how I died, just the fact that I'm sorry that I'm gone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And he said, I hope that you always remember, not I hope that you always remember that I loved you inside of myself the best I could.
Right.
And he had siblings?
He did.
Okay.
Yes.
But you don't really know them.
I know one of them.
Okay.
Yep.
Because he's like, you don't really have a connection with the family that much.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because he said they're all about like me. Like, they all have issues, and they all, he goes, well, look at my mom. There's why.
Yes.
But he said, he goes, I'm glad that you do have one that you can talk to every now and then to kind of learn a little bit more about the family.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But he said, this is going to sound silly, but thank your moms, your adoptive family for taking you in and always supporting you. Because he said, I can't be there, at least there's someone there for you.
Right.
And sometimes they're hard on you, but that's because they know you can do better.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because they see all your potential, and you only see a very narrow sliver of what you can do.
Yes.
But your dad said, tell them I said thank you. And I appreciate that they're taking care of you. And he said, this one isn't so bad, this new relationship. Just take your time.
Yeah.
Because he said, you rush. Just take your time and let it breathe.
Yes.
He's like, it's more like a wine, not a beer. Like, that's his analogy. I don't know why.
Well, I know why, but yes.
Okay. So it's like, let it breathe.
Yes.
And let things work at its natural pace.
All right.
Okay.
I just asked Dad, do you like him? I always, tell me if you like him or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He does. He just, you tend to jump. Like, you don't just gradually take a walk into a relationship. You just throw yourself in.
Yeah.
You're like, what's this? This looks fun. And then you dive in. And he says you never check to see if it's shallow or deep. and a lot of stuff is shallow.
Yeah.
But this person seems like they have a deeper understanding of humanity and people in general, so it feels positive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that for today.
Thank you.
But thanks for coming into the studio.
Yes,
We
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. We appreciate you joining us today. And you know, no matter what happens to us, we're always offered the opportunity to take our life and make it better. And we always have loved ones around us. We may not always see them, but they're always there to give us proof. Sometimes we just need to listen.